Hey everybody, I wanted to do a video that I've been kind of wanting to do for a while, and that is basically kind of doing a quick demo of the Mechromancer. Uh, Her gameplay mechanics are a little bit different than some of the other characters in the game. So like the main four characters in Borderlands 1 basically have some sort of counterpart in Borderlands 2, vice versa. Did I say that right? I think I said it backwards. But anyway, every character in this game they have some kind of relation to a character in the previous game. And Gage is kind of the first character to kind of go outside of that box and do things a little bit differently. And so I wanted to use this as an opportunity to just sit down and kind of like explain the types of things that she does. Gage's powers are mostly centered around being a shock and explosive type of character. I would just go ahead and take the explosive thing out of there and say that she's mainly shock. And I think that she can be a very effective character both in the hands of people that are new to the game, as well as people that might, veterans of the game as well. Um, and if you spec her out right, she can have some pretty unique stuff. Now she's not a complete level 50 here, but as I go through this, I basically have got her to the point of where I got the powers basically in point that make her very unique, like the whole point of why you would even want to try to play with her in the first place. But I do want to kind of go through and explain a couple of the other skills. Like I don't really have any skills over here in this best friends forever skill tree, but the best friends forever skill tree is basically based on skills that basically make your life a lot easier. It's about ways to help her just deal damage, makes Death Trap a lot more effective and that sort. Death Trap is actually her action skill. I guess I should have said that part first. Death Trap is one big ass robot that just walks around and basically shits on pretty much everybody that it gets his hands on. He lasts quite a while. Like he's out there for quite a bit of time. In comparison to Axton's turret, he does actually stay on the field quite a bit, and he'll go through. He can do everything from do damage to doing your shields, all that kind of stuff. But basically, in the Best Friends Forever tree, this is kind of almost again help to do the novice kind of thing and help people just better. I think one of the main things that's pretty cool is the buck up, which is the one I was telling you about that Death Trap will actually restore your shield. I think that is actually very useful, and that's a skill that I think that you should definitely run for as you go towards level 50. Yeah, but I mean the rest of them, I don't really think as much is of much use. I mean there are things that you can copy your shield, or you can decrease the cooldown rate because I mean 60 seconds is a pretty good amount of time, but I mean, you definitely want to get to this buck up ability, even if it's for the sole point of like leveling these two things up, just so that you can get to buck up. That can really help you out at the higher levels, where shields always regenerates in Borderlands 2. I'm not as big on trying to maximizing my health. I mean, there's ways that you can get back with health, but I mean, as long as your shield is up, you're living, right? So we definitely want to focus on that. And so that's a skill that as I continue to build towards her, this is what I'm going to work towards. I don't think that I'm actually going to go through and max out any one tree with her. I mean, there's just so many useful, intricate abilities throughout her tree that there might not be that need. But but you also got close enough. It gives the bullets a chance to ricochet off a wall or any other hard surface. So that could be really useful. Just if your aim is bad, you can be undercover and you can lift up and you can shoot some bullets and have a chance to ricochet and hit an enemy. So that's pretty cool if you're I mean, for a novice, but also for a professional person, because then, I mean, you could be doing that stuff on purpose. You're like, all right, I'm going to sit here and hit him with some bullets. I mean, the bullets aren't going to be super powerful, but nonetheless, you'll be able to deal damage, be able to flank somebody without necessarily having to leave your cover. But I think that's really all I find useful in this tree. But I mean, feel free to explore going down this tree. There are a lot. I mean, every ability in here is very useful. But I think that going up here and just basically putting getting the 10 points in so you can get the buck up, I think that's actually pretty useful, especially on a maxed out level 50 character. The little big trouble tree is basically sitting around just like shock. Everything in here is shock and making Death Trap being a badass, your elemental damage. So if you're one of the people that use the Siren and you were really big on increasing your DPS with elemental damage, like you're gonna really like this tree. As you can see, I already put points into resisting the shock. Shock always messes me up, and I like having the higher shield capacity. Again, kind of go back to my earlier point. I mean, having a high shield is always important, just because that's something that's always going to regenerate. You're not going to always have the ability for health. So I feel like if your shields are always on point, then you're doing pretty good. The stare death trap ability. This is why I put points in. I think it's a good way to sleep. Just some sweep damage, fire damage. Just a nice complement to Death Trap out there, just swiping the hell out of people already. So I think that's also pretty useful. And then, Shock Storm, you get a critical hit. Basically, when you pop an enemy, you kill the enemy with that critical hit, they'll basically explode into a whole bunch of electricity, and pretty much anybody around there can get hit. So this is really good for enemies that are clumped really close together. You got like a group of psychos or loaders or whatever that are really close. Hit it. Hit a psycho with a headshot, and you can hit everybody else around. Good for small enemies, actually. Good crowd control type of ability if you actually use it at the right time. So I plan on working my way towards the shock storm and just and then working down here to electrical burn. So you also get a chance to do your electrocute status, and then they can also take some burn damage. So it's kind of like getting stacking two different types of elemental damage on it. I have a class mod that's already going to enhance this already, so I already kind of know the direction that I really want to put my character into. I mean, the evil enchantress I think is kind of cool. But this is kind of like the kill seal with your status effect. It's not going to be always. I mean, it's not going to be always active. It only depends upon if you're really out there putting a lot of damage for a short period of time. But I don't really find this one quite as useful. Um, the wires don't talk. I do think is really good. I mean, obviously, if you're out here using shock damage is like I got a Thunderball Fist that you're actually going to see here in just a little bit. That'll be pretty good. And I mean, you can definitely just stack and stack and stack electric damage. I mean, even if you have like a little Eevee, I could think of some, the unique that you'll get in one of the DLCs. That's actually another one of those really good ones. So it can really increase the damage of that. And you stack that on some stuff over here in the ordered chaos tree. You could be doing some hell of a damage. So I feel like if you can at least get to about this point in this tree, you can do pretty good. And then moving over here to the Ordered Chaos, which is the main tree that everybody talks about as far as what makes Gauge really unique. It all starts with putting your point in Anarchy. Basically, in Anarchy, every single time that you kill an enemy or you empty out your magazine while in combat, you get a stack of Anarchy. And Anarchy basically just increases your gun damage, but it makes your accuracy go to crap. And you can get rid of this accuracy by reloading. And it'll go right back down to 0. Then you'll be back to where you originally were, and you won't have that damage. The main thing that I find very useful with this is it actually helps to have a gun with a lower magazine size. So I find pistols and shotguns to be a little bit more effective with her than necessarily with the SMGs and assault rifles, just because shotguns and pistols are going to have really a lot shorter magazine size by default, and they typically reload a little bit quicker, especially if you can get a good Hyperion gun or a Jacob's gun. You'll be able to, or a Jacob's, not Jacob's shotgun necessarily, but Jacob's shotgun is good for the short magazine size, but a Jacob's pistol or something, it'll be able to help you do a lot of damage really quickly, get those stacks up. But you have to actually put points into smaller but lighter, so it kind of complements the whole point. It makes your reload speed faster to help complement this, but your magazine size is going to go down, so that way you can get to using your stacks a little bit. If you use an affinity pistol, this might kind of cop block you a little bit. So I don't know if if you're one of the affinity pistol users, you might not want to necessarily use this skill. But I decided to put a point into Robot Rampage. I think it's pretty good. Just enhanced Death Trap. Death Trap will sit there and spin around and do a lot more damage. I think anything that just makes Death Trap more of a badass is worth the points. I actually put some points here in the Blood-Soaked Shields. I think that is pretty useful. I mean, use a portion of your health, even though killing an enemy does increase your shield. Again, it kind of goes back to the whole point. You can always find a way to get health. I feel like if your shields is always still going, you're good. So that's where I try to put my emphasis on my shields. So I feel like that was a little bit more of a usefulness than using this, this pre-shrunk cyberpunk, because I really don't see a situation in which, I mean, with the cap of Anarchy stacks already at 150, I can't really see a situation where somebody's actually going to really maximize that out. I mean, if you have all 150 stacks, I mean, you can literally do, over 200% extra gun damage, but you're also going to have 200% really shitty accuracy. So I think there's going to be a point in which I can see people actually finding a balance between the stacks in order to do an optimal amount without necessarily making accuracy go completely out the window. So I really don't find this pre-shrunk cyberpunk skill to be that useful. And then we finally get down here to the Discord. This is kind of the complementary skill to Anarchy. So before you put a point in this skill, your Anarchy stacks when you reload it prematurely in the middle of a clip, it would just go back to zero really fast. But with Discord, it won't do this. Now, if you prematurely reload, you will the Anarchy stacks will slowly count down like one by one, and while that's being counted down, now that countdown will generate you more health, fire rate, and your gun accuracy, so you can literally become, really become a badass for a brief period of time. And then if you reload it again, or pretty much reload it again, then you can stop that and you'll start gaining stacks again. So this time you won't necessarily zero out. And so it literally works like a switch. I mean, you probably read it online and used and found out those descriptions, but that's what it is. It's basically using this Discord and Anarchy back and forth to switches and it completely changes the way you want to do everything on the battlefield. So I can see people either trying to just get as much Anarchy stacks as much as they can and just go for the high risk reward and destroy a lot of people, or I can see them, or at least how I like to do it, is just find a good balance of stacks. Like I've had my stacks up as high as 75 or 80% and have been able to still be pretty productive since I am mostly using shotguns and pistols with her. So it's been pretty good. And that's where I kind of see where most people are going to go with this. They will probably use the skill more to fight, or use this, get up to a certain point, fight, then hit at the right time. If you need a little bit of firepower, you can hit with the Discord, reload, do some extra damage, get your health back up, reload it again, stop it, stack it up again, and just rinse and repeat. I can see this coming in really good handy in some areas, and even in boss battles, work it up. And if you can get to a boss and do some extra bonus damage, I think this actually, combine that with Death Trap, can make some of these boss battles that people find very difficult a whole lot easier. But then again, if you work down here, Rational Anarchist, so you have 0 stacks of Anarchy, you can basically get 25 stacks for the price of one. So, that'll basically shoot you up real quick into to a good level of Anarchy and work your way up. I think that is a good complementary skill to go on next, beyond in the next tiers. And and again, you got the Jizzy explosion of death from above, and then bullet ricochet and those kind of things like that. But I don't really see a situation where I might actually build all the way down any of her trees. Like I know I'm gonna sit here and put, I got this. I'm definitely working towards Rational Anarchist, and the chances are, I will probably do the typecast in a class just because keep my Anarchy going and that sort. Death Trap moving quickly. That's neat, but I don't really think that is as useful as just being able to build your Anarchy. So now once you get Discord and you have the chance to control how much you have and how much you don't have, that's pretty good. But let me just quit talking about it and let me just kind of show you what I got going on. Whoops, not the badass rank. Damn it. Okay, so I got some stuff equipped. Just some basic stuff. I actually have a pistol damage relic to kind of complement my Thunderball fist. This is what I'm actually going to be using the majority of during this little run through. And I also got my Slagga. These are a couple legendaries I just kind of got going through my playthroughs. I like to try to get some low level ones just to kind of help me out through certain points of the game, especially to play through one. It definitely makes things go by a lot quicker. My shotgun is actually Moxie's Heartbreaker. I like to use the Hyperion shotguns. The magazine size is already at 8, so reduce it a little bit. It makes it go by a little bit quicker, and you'll see that damage too. And I got my Roaster just as a quick pick-me-up, just in case I get kind of gang-banged a little bit. But I got Electric Rubberized Tesla. I actually think I got a better one than that. Throw an Electric Merv. Let me see. Let me go ahead and upgrade that. That's probably a little bit better. And I did have an electric rock salt, but it's a little bit too low level for this, it just wouldn't be any usefulness. So this is my basic loadout that I'm going to use when I run through this, and we're just going to go through this first part of Fink's Slaughterhouse. I'm just going to do one round so you can kind of see the way that I'm really choosing to play. You can kind of see all this stuff that I'm saying in action. Again, like adding all this electric damage with the Thunderball Fist. It just makes the gauge incredible at downing enemies. So, again, we're about to do this. Enjoy the show. I'll give you a little bit of commentary as I go through this. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually call out Death Trap. So you're going to see Death Trap basically go out there and put in a little bit of work, which is what I like. But with that increased pistol damage, everything I'm doing is just doing a massive amount of damage. Oh, I hate Wrath Deeps. Those things piss me off, especially when I have a lot of money. At this point in the game, it won't piss me off as much. But Death Trap's over here doing that burn and shocking those guys. Oh, didn't even have to shoot a bullet there. So right now we're at 3 stacks. I'm kind of doing a poor job of getting my stacks because Death Trap is over here actually running through a lot of my guys. Alright, got a little bit more. Wow. So I think after the second round, I'm going to show you a good example of I'm gonna activate Discord in the second or after the second round. My goal right now is just to see how many stacks I can get. It's really serious. It's really hard. I'm a compulsive reloader, so it's really hard to tell myself, "Hey, yo, don't reload while you're doing this battle." It's you gotta kind of retrain yourself in how you approach these battles a little bit. So I'm gonna try the best I can. But now that I got Discord, it's not much of a penalty. Oh man, the Thunderball fist is excellent, excellent, excellent legendary for Gage. I am very lucky. I actually got this one from a loot midget while going through the wildlife exploitation reserve. Believe it or not, very random drop, but I was very glad I had it. So we're continuing to kill these enemies. Psycho. Really? I don't even shoot one. I could be a lot more bullet efficient, definitely. So we're at 15. That wasn't a that was a combat shot. Alright, 16.
Badass coming.
Oh damn. Okay. That's badass Marauder. Ain't no stop for this. Ain't no match.
That was it?
Pretty nice. Alright. Let's see what else we got here. Got 1 bullet. But I want to get a stack, so I ain't gonna waste it. I actually gotta hit him. There we go. So if you don't hit him, I actually don't think that reload off that last bullet's gonna count towards your stack. So make sure you're actually hitting him with it. You want it to count as a combat stack. Alright. Alright, so we got 1 shock enemy. So I'm gonna switch over here to my Heartbreaker. And continue to do what I was just doing. I have not activated Death Trap yet. I will here in a sec. Alright. There we go. Yeah, that works. Alright, so now I'm going to show you what I mean. So now I can regenerate a little bit of health. So I'm going to shoot off a couple of these. I'm going to go ahead and reload. And as you can tell, my stacks are starting to do that. And you can see me doing a little bit of Discord. So my health is regenerating. My fire rate's going to go a little bit better, as you can see. But now I can reload again. And now I'm shutting it off. So as long as you see that effect, you can continue to do what you were doing. Oh man, we're up to 8 stacks. So if I see a particularly intimidating enemy, I'm going to actually... Oh shit, let me run away. That's not me. You know what, I'm actually going to just go ahead and roll around with this Heartbreaker. Get this critical hit damage. Alright, that's a quick one. Alright. That was the Electric Storm.
Start the anarchy.
Oh, see, she wants anarchy. Her trash talk is some of the best trash talk of any of these characters. So we got a Midget Goliath. Alright. So here we go again. Dropping some characters. A Marauder, Elite Marauders. So we're going to go ahead and do a quick reload here. Now we're back in Discord. As you can see. Now I'm regenerating a lot of damage. Or regenerating. So now we're going to just go ahead and do it myself. Turn it off. So now we're back to normal. And we can build more stacks. So, again, I'm at a pretty low level of Anarchy. So I haven't really used a good example. This is the first round of the Slaughter Dome. And so, it probably would have been better to do it at a higher level where there's a hell of a lot more enemies. But we can sit here and try it on. You know, I hate lab rats. Right. That probably ain't gonna count. Gun damage going up. Oh wow, I ran out of ammo. Again, let's let Death Trap go in and put in a little bit of work. Death Trap can end this battle for me pretty quickly.
This is getting good. You're bringing it clear to my
There we go.
You're alive.
Again, I love her trash talk. Is this a transfusion grenade? Yeah, I'll take that. And there you go. That is basically using one round of Gauge in a nutshell. Kind of just wanted to do a quick explanation of power. I might do some more of these a little bit later and do it at a much better place, a little more stuff going on. But I kind of want to just do a basic breakdown as I go through the missions and stuff. I do plan on just doing a couple of random videos of cool parts of the game. I might do some towards the end where it's a little more exciting. So, but hope you enjoyed this video, and until the next time, just take care and go eat some chicken or whatever it is you like to eat. That's what I eat, so I think you should enjoy it. All right, well, enjoy.